Big news yesterday was all about Temu and Shein and what the changes to the de minimis are going to do for their business. But are you actually that safe if you kind of compete with these guys? I want to look at these two giants that everybody knows a lot about, but we're going to focus primarily on Shein versus Temu. Why? Because Shein is actually a first-party seller for the most part, and Temu is a marketplace. Shein has opportunities and options that make it a lot more difficult to contain them. One thing that I shared in comments yesterday among the hundreds of posts that are all talking about the changes to Temu was that no company that has made billions of dollars in a market is going to give it up. Shein in particular made about 11 to 12 billion dollars in the US in 2024. The reality is no company that makes that much money is going to abandon a market, and they most certainly will figure out a way to continue to be competitive. The most likely change is that you're going to see these companies start to import directly into the US as having their own inventory. They've already been doing some of this already and they've had plans in place for it, but they're simply going to accelerate it. Shein, on the other hand, has another huge opportunity in that they have operations in places like India, for example, and Brazil, where they can shift manufacturing for US businesses to continue to access the market tariff-free. Because remember, tariffs are about the country of origin where the goods are produced. It's where it's made, not who's making it. The other big thing that Shein has that's going for them is that since they kind of work with their partners to manufacture the product, they own the inventory and they could import it into the US. This gets into a very traditional model of the cost of goods, which of course, because of their models and their labor, they will most likely have it extremely reduced models given their scale and given their power in the market. One thing that a lot of people seem to be missing is the fact that they have to just continue to be able to sell on value to regular customers. They don't have to always be something so wildly dirt cheap. They still have a huge value proposition if when a customer is buying with them, they can get 5 items instead of 1. Right? When you think about their pricing structure and the way that they have their options compared to a domestic US brand. These guys are going to figure out a way to get into the market, and they are going to continue to push on their value proposition, which was selling on low cost and providing more perceived value for consumers. So that means that as your brand, as your smaller D2C brand, as your smaller retail brand, you still need to focus on the things that matter, right? Which is quality, connectedness, and relevance to your consumer base, but you also have to be probably way more mindful when it comes to your inventory management and what you do and don't do if you want to stay ultra competitive, because it is only going to get more challenging to keep competing with people that are willing to put hundreds of millions of dollars of inventory into a market, because they most certainly will not give up 11 to 12 billion dollars of sales.